This week on No Cell Service, our hosts cover the sci-fi thriller Signs. This content is intended for mature audiences only. Listener discretion is advised.
Aliens. Our favorite.
I love this movie. It's a classic. People will probably look at me now and laugh, unless they were around, unless they were my age around the same time, or, saw it when they were younger, but it's terrifying.
This movie is wild. For an alien movie, especially in 2002, the way they go about doing everything, and M. Night Shyamalan specifically stated he didn't want aliens shown for more than, I think it's 90 seconds. So you don't see them for a lot of the movie, which we always agree with. You show less, the scarier it is.
Yes, because your mind is the scariest thing that can, your mind will take it to another level that makes it scarier than what it ever actually will be.
Exactly. I do have to state, I'm going to state this off the bat, and obviously we'll get into it as the movie goes. I did not realize how much religion was in this movie at all.
Yeah, I didn't either. And maybe that speaks to the fact that, when I was younger, I was being brought up in a more religious upbringing, but it just didn't stick.
Yeah, same. I was also brought up super religious and would have watched this with my parents around that time period. So my parents were probably all for it, being like, yes, believe the man on the TV.
100%. And I think, I think that can attest to why, not that my parents were ever sticklers about, that type of media, but it was just more of I wouldn't be surprised if that was also why it was in the house, because my mom loves those thriller movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because it's a sci-fi thriller. It doesn't technically have the horror tag, but it's a spooky movie. It's a scary movie.
It does.
Oh,
in
really?
Wiki it has horror tag.
Okay. Well, Google can go eat its own butthole.
I usually either go off of Wiki or I'll go off of IMDb for tags.
Yeah. Okay.
And whether or not anyone else classified it as horror, I believe full-heartedly this is a horror thriller film.
Yes. But also you go on Reddit and pretty much everyone has the same opinion of oh no, when I was younger, this one scene terrified me, and we all know the scene. We won't talk about it until we get there, but...
I actually did not go on Reddit for this one. I usually do. I was doing some other stuff and I found an hour behind the scenes of, I think it's a bonus feature for the DVD, and I was watching that and going through that kind of stuff.
Nice. I did look at the Reddit, but
I kind of got stuck on going down the alien pipeline of what are these supposed to be?
Yeah. Well, I guess we should start actually, get into the movie.
Let's get into it.
It starts with the shot of a backyard. It's like a grill and a a picnic bench kind of thing. It's a nice little outer backyard.
Yeah, no, super nice. It's placed right next to a super dense cornfield.
Yeah, it's like a little farmhouse.
Yeah, and then as the camera kind of scans down and comes back into the house, and as it does it, you get this weird shimmer wavy effect that happens, and you're like, oh, that's weird.
From the glass or something.
No, it's not meant to be from the glass, but it's a weird little effect that happens. I clocked it twice throughout the movie.
Interesting. I guess I probably just didn't think anything of it.
So I did go through IMDb trivia for it, and someone was like, oh, it's there because the aliens are already there. Oh. And so it's the start of the aliens already existing there, because we'll get into it here in a second about the crop circle we're about to see. This is the effect of aliens are here, and the second time we see it, it is also true that
Okay, so and you'll have to point it out when we get to that scene.
I have the note for it.
Yeah, we get Mel Gibson waking up and getting out of bed.
Yep, he's startled awake, and as he's looking around, he's like, what? He doesn't hear anything, he doesn't see anything. He goes over to his kid's door and stands there and kind of listens to see if maybe they were awake, and that's what startled him awake, and he doesn't hear anything. So he's like, yeah, all right, and goes and starts his morning routine. As he's brushing his teeth, you just hear this guttural child wail of a scream.
Yeah, big old scream, and it cuts to Joaquin Phoenix in a bed, and he flies out of bed and well, I shouldn't say flat, like he stumbles out, he lands on the floor.
Yep.
And like panics and gets up and runs out, and he
meets Graham, the dad, outside.
Yeah, and they're like, "Yo, where are the kids?" And they're like, "Oh, I don't know." And they go outside and start going after the screaming.
Yeah, the kid screams again, and it's the son who's screaming, and they run out into the cornfield, which cornfields terrify me because like you can't see above them. How do you know where you're going?
You don't, unless you're just really good at that kind of thing.
Because obviously, Mel Gibson plays Graham, and Joaquin Phoenix plays his brother. I kept saying his name wrong. Merrill, Merrill,
Merle,
Merril, Merrill.
Yeah.
The brother. And so obviously, Graham is a farmer and this is his crops. So he knows what's happening. But like, I'm always astonished by people just going into cornfields. Obviously, we did not grow up in that part of the U.S. We do not have cornfields everywhere. So maybe it's more common and you can kind of maneuver better. I don't know. It freaks me out.
To be fair, I mean, we used to, or at least I used to just go out into the woods and like wander off, and I still found my way home. So
I did too. It's just like perception, right? Like forests aren't scary to me.
I think
cornfields are scary to me.
It's also a matter of like how good your world sense is of being able to like tell, like, oh, I came in from, like, I was walking this way and then we turned this way, so by that logic, like. Where we came from is to the left, or right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you're good at that kind of thing, otherwise, no, cornfields are terrifying.
Yeah. And they run through the cornfield. They come into like a pathway, like between the crop lines, and there's a little girl there, and it's Abigail Breslin.
Mm-hmm. Same one from Zombieland.
Exactly. And I was like, oh, we get to talk about her again. We've never aired that episode, and it will never be aired. We have talked about her before.
That's right. Holy crap.
We've talked about her before. We love her.
Yes.
She's fantastic. I did not know she was in this movie.
I forgot that it was her.
And she delivers some banger lines. And this one is great because like Graham goes up and grabs her and he's like, Bo, are you okay? And she's like, are you in my dream too?
Yes. And he's like, this isn't a dream.
And he's like, are you hurt? Is everything okay? And then Morgan, the son, I think he screams again or something. He screams again. And he's like, Dad. So Graham runs after him, leaving Bo behind and hoping Merle. I'm
assuming Merle was like right there with him and like.
Well, he was. Sorry, the pause was because of the name.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
We'll go with Merle. Assuming Merle would grab Bo. And as a soon-to-be parent, I say soon-to-be, as someone who wants to be a parent, I could not imagine leaving my kid there thinking someone else was going to grab them, even if it was my brother. I would scoop up that little girl and be like, we're going to find your brother.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm a little harsh on him because I think he's a shit dad. In this entire movie, he's a shit fucking dad. So I guess opening up, maybe I'm being a little more harsh than I should be on him right now.
No, but I think there's a lot of stuff that like, this is a tough one because half of it could just be his religious background. Half of it could just be stuff that we'll talk about, soon, that like is part of the story that has a big effect on.
Yeah, I do. Story-wise, I feel like wouldn't you cling harder?
Yes, but the problem, so that's just it, right? Like there's no right or wrong way to cope. And like,
that's fair.
Well, we'll get to that.
We'll get to it when we get to it, yeah.
Anyways.
He runs into the cornfield to go find Morgan.
His son.
And Morgan says the dogs woke them up and he thinks God did it. Yeah. And Graham is like, what are you talking about? And he points over to the field and there is a crop circle. And then the camera zooms out for you to see the entirety of the crop circle.
Yeah, it's like...
It is the signs poster, signs,
there's that whole
DVD
symbol.
cover.
It's like the collection of lines and the circles connected in like in a line, and it zooms out to show the whole thing, and then it fades
to them being back in the house. Graham's on the phone. He's like, Lee, like Lionel and the whatever brothers were here and they messed with my crops. Like, can you please just talk to them just to put my kids' minds at ease? Like this stuff is driving us a little crazy here. And whoever's on the phone is like, bro, we were at a movie.
Yeah.
Like, there was no way my son could have done it. We find out Lee is Lionel's dad later, but like, it couldn't have been them. He's like, oh, okay, like, whatever. He looks over, and Morgan and Bo are standing by one of their German shepherds who had peed on the floor and is just laying there. His name's Houdini. And Morgan's like, I think he's sick. Like, can you call the vet or whatever? And he's like, oh, I'll call the doctor. And Morgan's like, the doctor doesn't deal with dogs. And he's like, well, he'll know what to do.
Yeah, he's like, oh, it's fine, whatever.
And he cleans up this dog pee in the worst way possible.
Yes.
He grabs like a handful of paper towels and like dabs at it.
And then smears it
everywhere, stands up, and then he notices that Caroline, a police officer / sheriff, she might be the sheriff, noticed she's standing there, leaning against his door, and just stands there with the pee-stained, drenched paper towels, and is like, oh, Caroline, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Standing there, letting it drip everywhere, doesn't continue cleaning it up, and then I'm like, Caroline, if you had enough time to lean against this door kind of out of eye line, like, couldn't you have come in and been like, hey, Graham, how's it going? Like, what do you need? And
100%.
he's like, oh, like, fancy meeting you here. I only called you 2 hours ago. Like, I wasn't expecting you guys so soon. And then she tells a story about how she really shouldn't have been here because there was some lady in town spitting all over the pharmacy or something.
Yeah.
It made no sense. Like,
yeah. And finally she's like, so what's up? Why'd you call? And
then it cuts to Morgan. How old is Morgan? How old do you think
I'd
Morgan
say
is?
he's like 10.
Did you say 10? I thought he was like 8.
I would say 10 is generous. But yeah,
because it just says preteen son.
He's young, but you can tell that he's like the older brother for sure because he's more put together than a young boy should be, in my opinion.
No, I agree.
He's very like...
he's very smart and very much like, if you have ever met an older sibling who had to help raise younger siblings, that is who he is.
Yeah, like he became an adult too fast.
Way too fast. And in this scene, he is manning a grill with chicken and burgers and stuff on it. And he's like, ugh, Dad's going to burn this stuff again. And he's like going at it.
He's the one flipping it.
Yeah, he's the one taking care of it. And in my head, I was like, wait, it's like 11 a.m., right? It was really early to be eating burgers, I guess.
Like grilling lunch or something.
Yeah, I don't know. It would just seem like a weird scene to me, but whatever. But then I was like, well, it is a single dad and his brother. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I guess you're just going to do whatever you can, right? And Bo is sitting there with a glass of water, sitting in front of Houdini, and she drinks the water.
And yeah, Morgan walks over to her and she's like, this water's contaminated. And he's like, you don't even know what that means.
Like, it's just tap water. Like, he drinks it and he's like, it's just tap water. Just put it in Houdini's bowl. He licks his butt all day. He's not going to care.
Yeah.
And they slide the water dish over to Houdini for him to drink it. And he starts growling and, like, gets up and is, like, barking and growling. And Bo starts to freak out. And Morgan, again, being a put-together kid, is like, Bo, don't run. Houdini, calm down. So, like, stop, boy. And it's just like... No kid should have to know that you shouldn't run from a, like, he just knows.
Yeah.
And in this scene, allegedly, Houdini is supposed to be barking at an alien behind them.
Oh, interesting.
That is what I saw, again, on IMDb trivia. I played it scene by scene. I could not catch it.
Maybe that's something that is not shown, but, like, if you know, you know.
No, yeah. Yeah, so it's supposed to be that he's freaking out for the kids, not because of Bo.
I thought it was the water. I thought the water was actually, like, I was like, oh, did the aliens put something in the water to, like, fuck with people? But
so I also thought that until the end of the movie with the whole thing. I was like, oh, because alien movie, I was like, they did something to the water, obviously. But it's literally only Bo who cares about the water.
Yeah. We'll get into that more, but it is a funny little something. It's cute, honestly.
Yeah, it makes sense in the end, and just is a weird little quirk right now. While this is happening, for half of my notes, like, no one says Graham's name. Mm-hmm. So
well, yes, it's not until the sheriff goes home or, like, leaves their property after looking at everything before.
No, she calls him father the entire time.
I know, I'm saying until she leaves, it's when she, like, at the very like, when she gets in her car to drive away after the whole interaction is when she finally says his name.
No, not here. She doesn't do it till the second time she comes back. When she leaves here, he's like, please don't call me father, and she just leaves. For a large chunk of my notes, I just call him father.
Because does she come back then? I thought she was just there.
No, she's here for this. She leaves because we're about we'll get to this part.
Mm-hmm.
So father shows Caroline the crop circles. She tells him about how animals have been acting funny on other farms.
Mm-hmm.
They've kind of been acting violent, like they sense predators. He realizes he can't hear his kids. And she's like, what the hell is happening? He's like, I can't hear my kids. And they run back to the farm.
Yeah.
Morgan accidentally kills Houdini because he lunges a bow and Morgan gets between him and he's holding the pokers for the grill and stabs Houdini in the chest.
Yeah, so Morgan's sitting there hitting his inhaler.
Yeah, because
next to the dog. Bo is up in the playset behind them,
just fetal position,
in a fetal position,
like holding her knees to her chest. Dad just holds out his hand to Morgan and pulls him onto the other side of the dog and is like, "Are you okay?" Morgan just looks at him and is just like, "No," or like says no or whatever, and walks away and is like, "Yeah, way to comfort your fucking kid." Like, you just like patted him on the shoulder and was like, "Are you okay?" No, he's not okay. He just accidentally killed one of his fucking dogs that was going after his sister.
Yeah.
He has Meryl tie up the other German Shepherd, Isabel, to the shed.
Mm-hmm.
And she leaves.
She just leaves?
Caroline just leaves.
I thought she came inside because then she goes to hang out with... She's sitting there hanging out with Morgan and he has the baby monitor.
Nope, that is later. That is not the same scene.
I fucking hate my brain, dude.
No, you are correct. You were just tying them in the same scene. The next part is Bo waking up Graham from sleep. That's what happens next. So it cuts...
Yes. Yeah. That
So,
happens, and then...
Yeah, so Bo wakes up, like, he gets woken up from a dead sleep again.
That's right.
From Bo, with another banger line saying, "There's a monster outside my room. Can I have a glass of water?"
Yeah. And you're like, oh, okay.
Cool, whatever.
Anyways. And he's like, what about the water next to your bed? And she's like...
It tastes old.
Tastes old. Yeah.
So this is another scene, like, this is going to be a consistent thing with Bo, that every time she has water, something's wrong with it, right? Everyone's just like, okay, whatever. And, you're just like, oh, this is a weird kid quirk thing. And when she said it tastes old, it was like, fair enough. Like, when water has been left out for a while and it just, like, gets a weird kind of, like, taste to it.
It's
like,
stale.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a weird thing to say about water, but it does happen. So I was like, I get this kid. Like, especially if it was the water from the night before, or, I get it.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
Graham takes Bo back into their shared bedroom. Bo and Morgan share a bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
And Morgan is like half off this bed on his stomach, falling out of bed. And I was like, what fucking kid sleeps like this? But I had my nephew one time, I think when he was like 10 or 11, like when you backbend, you like have your knees and you like bridge backbend.
Yes.
Had his knees like that. All of the sheets were ripped off of his bed. His pillows were on the floor and his arms was above his head. Kid was out like a fucking light. Just dead asleep. And I was like, boys, I guess. Like, what?
Yeah, they'll sleep however. If they're tired enough, yeah.
Yeah, and so he just like, he grabs him by the chest and like flops him back over and it's just like, good boy.
Yeah. And then he goes and sits down in the bed with Bo and she asks him why he talks to their mom every night when he's alone. He's like, well... He
says something about like it comforts him or something.
Yeah, like makes you feel better or something. Yeah. And then she's like, does she ever answer? And he's like, nope. And she's like, me either. And you're like, oh.
And then he looks over out the window and there's a fucking stanced-up shadow on the roof of the barn next door.
Yeah, and he fucking stands up and he's like, holy shit. And he goes into Merle's room and wakes him up. And is like, come on, like...
Lionel and the boys are here again.
Lionel and the boys are here, back at it again. And so they go down. They're at the front door, and Merle comes up with this elaborate plan to have have them run outside either side of the house towards the front.
Screaming profanities.
Screaming and cussing and acting crazy.
And Graham being... the father, being a pastor, is like...
being a previous pastor. He is apparently no longer a pastor.
He has not been a pastor for like 6 months, but everyone still calls him father.
Yeah.
He's like, it doesn't sound right when I curse. And then every time Merle says something, he's like, can you define that? And he's like, just make noises. He's like, can you define noises?
Yeah.
And he's like, do you want to do this or not?
Yeah.
And they see a light. So they both burst outside and freaking... why did I just lose his name?
Merle?
No, sorry, Graham. Graham is like, I'm intensely angry and coming
yeah.
at you.
Yeah, he's literally sprinting out being like, I am psychotically angry and I am coming to get you, like, and screaming like stupid shit like that.
And Merle is straight up screaming, I'm gonna fucking kick your ass, like, where are you? And they like,
you fucking bitch, get back, like, I'm gonna fucking murder you, like shit like that.
Run around the opposite sides of the house. Graham sees a shadow, Merle sees a light, and they almost run right into each other. And they're like, where the fuck did he go? Where did he go? And then they hear footsteps on the roof, and they're both like, how the fuck did he get up there?
Yeah, Merle looks up and he's like, what the fuck?
Then the swing starts moving, and then something rustles into the cornfield. Like something jumped from the roof onto the swing set and then booked it into the corn.
Yeah.
Which is a wild thing to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's morning.
Yes.
Caroline shows up and they're...
That's right. Okay. Yep. It's because that's when she's sitting there talking to Morgan at the table and he's got this baby monitor.
He's actually fucking with her radio.
Or yeah, that's right. He's fucking with her radio and she's the one who says like, oh, did you know that like, you know, you can use baby monitors as
as a one-way walkie-talkie.
Yeah, stuff like that. Doesn't Bo have one or something like that? Something to that effect.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I think Bo has an old one. And she's like, yeah, you can use that for a one-way radio until one of the boys can get a new radio and you can have their old one. Mm-hmm. And then...
Graham goes into the living room and Bo's watching Dexter's Laboratory. And he's like, why are there 3 different glasses of water on the TV?
First he says, you're too old for this. And I thought he meant her watching cartoons. And I was like, dude, she's like 5. What do you mean she's too old to be watching cartoons? And then he picks up the glass and I was like, oh, no, that makes sense.
He's like, drink the whole glass and just refill it. You don't need to get 3.
Yeah, she's like, well, that one had dust in it. And that one had a hair. Morgan drank out of that one and his amoebas are in it.
Yeah, something to, yeah.
And I was like, amoebas?
Yeah, it's cute. Well, it's funny because Graham starts to like pick up the glasses. But then, like, as he's cleaning them up, he looks over and sees, like, 6 more, like...
They're all in groups of 3s.
They're all in groups of 3s all over the house. And so he just looks over and sees more. And he's just like, fuck this shit. And he just puts his glasses down somewhere and fucking walks into the kitchen. Because he's just like, you know what? I don't fucking care.
I'll fucking deal with it later. So he goes in to sit down with Bo and Caroline. And Merle comes in as well. And she's like, okay, let's go over this again. What did you see besides it was dark?
Yeah.
It was very dark.
And they cannot give Caroline any description other than like they say she's like am I looking for someone short or tall? And they're like, well, he's definitely not short.
She's like, okay, above 6 foot, and they're like, it was very dark.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't even know if I'm looking for a man or a woman. And
they're like, oh no, a woman could not have. Yeah, a woman couldn't have jumped up on the house that fast or ran that fast. And she's like, I mean, granted, this came out in 2002, so Caroline's like, you know, there are women Olympians who can run faster than any man I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah, and she's like, and you know, women high jumpers, like a 10-foot roof is nothing to those. And
she's like, a Scandinavian woman could jump over me like it's nothing.
And Merle humble brags. He's like, look, I'm really fast and I'm really strong. And I couldn't do that. So it had to have been a man. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they have this whole thing and Caroline just like looks at him like, you guys are giving me nothing to work with. Like, are you sure it was a man? Like,
well, and they're like, why are you insisting it's a woman? And she's like, because I literally had a crazy fucking woman come into town and like, she flipped out at this one place because they didn't have the right kind of cigarettes. Yeah. And no one's seen her since that incident, so honestly,
I'm keeping my options open.
Keep my fucking options open.
It could have been her. And they both kind of look at her like she's crazy. And before they can continue the conversation, Bo comes in, is like, Dad, where's the remote? And he tells her to look under the couch, so she wanders back away. They kind of continue the conversation more, and Merle does actually apologize. And he's like, look, I'm sorry. I didn't mean anything by it. We just really do think it was a guy who was here. And then Bo comes back in and is like, there's only food under the couch.
Yeah. He's like, well, why don't you just change the channel on the TV? And she's like, I tried. It's all the same.
Yeah, there's the same shows on every channel. So they go into the living room to look at the TV, and it's a newscast from India about a bunch of crop circles popping up, and they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and it's this like scientist talking about like what this could potentially mean, and like, is this a hoax? And if it is a hoax, it's probably one of the most elaborate, because you'd have to have people collaborating all around the world.
So I think it was they had like 18 crop circles in the last like 72 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
And so it was
in
a
all
wild
different
amount.
places.
Yeah, there was
Like-
a ton in India, then and they're in, I think, Pennsylvania is what they said.
Yeah. Yes,
And then I
it
think
is
there was a few
Pennsylvania.
in Brazil and England. They
Mhm.
talk about it in a little bit. And then he says the most unprofessional line of someone trying to play a professor of, if this is real, it's for real. It's just like,
Yeah, okay.
oh, like that is the effect of it, is he literally says it's for real. And I was like, yeah, I've definitely heard a professor
It's
say that.
Willy for wheels
Yeah,
this time,
thank
guys.
you.
Aliens are
Whittling.
Willy, yeah. Oh my god.
I was like, okay, whatever, man. Like, you just lost all fake credibility you already had.
Yeah.
While Caroline is leaving, she talks about how she did some research on crop circles when she left the first time and talked about how it is possible for them to be hoax. She knows, like, people with cardboard and string are able to, pat them down and not break it, and that's how they've been done in the past. But says, if it's all over the world, I don't know what's going on. Like, let me think on it. And when she leaves this time, she's like, thank you, Graham, or says something. And I'm like, oh, we finally get a name, because I've just been calling him Father, because it works, because he's the dad of the kids and he's also a pastor.
Yeah. Well, she tells him that, like, she's like, you guys have all been under a lot. Y'all don't need to sit and watch the TV and make your kids worry about the state of the world. So she's like, fucking take them out, like, get them out of the house, do something.
Go into town and get your mind on something normal or something like that. So they take a family trip.
They go into town.
Morgan and Bo go to the bookstore. Merle wanders off by himself. He ends up going to a recruiting office
He walks into an army recruiter office. Not that he's enlisting, but he's just wandering around while
he does pick up enlistment papers to look at the pamphlet and stuff.
Yeah.
But he doesn't enlist there. I keep losing his name. Graham goes to the pharmacy to pick up more inhaler medication for Morgan. And while he's there,
can we pause it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What are you guys doing?
no, don't even worry about it. It's stressful not having someone else watching the pups. I get it.
Okay, so Graham is at the pharmacy getting inhalers for Morgan, and the kids are at a bookstore.
And Merle's at the recruiting office. Poor Graham, the girl behind the counter, she's a teenager, early 20s maybe, and she's like, hey, Father.
For anyone who doesn't know, I can never remember the actress's name, but she's in stuff now. She plays Schmidt's girlfriend at one point in New Girl.
Really?
She's the bigger one that, like, kind of, it's like the turning point for Schmidt to kind of, like, be over his, what's the word? Vainness, I should say, I guess.
Merritt Weaver?
Yes. I was just like, holy shit, she's so young. She's just a little teenager. What the fuck?
Do I know her from anything else? Oh, she was in NCIS. I do know that show.
Okay.
So she is behind the counter and is like, Father, we had some girls in here earlier and they were talking about the end of the world and I really just need to clear my conscience.
And he's like, I'm not a pastor anymore. And she's like, but I need to clear my conscience. And he's just like, oh, fucking.
Yeah, she says something else about, like, how she's done something wrong or whatever, and it would just really be helpful for her to calm her mind.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to Merle in the recruiting office and the, what's his name? The recruiter there behind the counter is talking about how this is a reconnaissance mission for the aliens. They coming down, they're scouting out, they're not going to do anything.
I could not laugh at this because he was doing the most stereotypical, like, first they send a couple down, and then once they get the information, then they send in the rest of the party. And it's like, okay, all right, are you trying to sell something to me at the end of this? Or,
yeah,
like, it's fucking funny.
He was very interesting to interact with. And then he's like, hey, wait, I know you. You were a minor league baseball star. You had the best home runs and blah, 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 and goes off on this whole thing. And then we get the rest of the room, and Lionel, the guy who they assumed was doing all the hoaxes, is actually enlisting, filling out all of his paperwork. And he's like, yeah, but he also has a record no one else knows about, and it's a strikeout record. I didn't really know what that means. From context clues, I'm assuming he gets out a lot.
Yeah, so essentially he hit the farthest home run, but he also he always swung, which meant that like he almost always struck out unless he hit the ball.
And that's bad.
And that's bad because if you get 3 strikes, you're out.
So he's out a lot.
Yes, because he literally always swung. There are times when you shouldn't swing, and that you may not get a strike if you don't swing when you shouldn't, if that makes sense.
So he wasn't very strategic with his
No,
baseball.
he just hit it. He just wanted to hit it really fucking hard every time.
Okay. Also, while we're seeing This Is Lionel, does not look like the shadow they saw on top of the freaking barn. Like, homie's got long hair.
This is just a dude.
Yeah, the thing that looked on top of the barn was like
Dude adjacent,
humanoid. He was very like built and like big though. Stocky, and like he seemed very furless, or if he had hair it was like slicked back. There was like no, and this dude had a mane.
Yeah,
like
no, this guy had
hair.
like long hair, like rocker hair.
Yeah, it did not match. Back at the bookstore, Bo and Morgan are
Morgan's at the counter, and the shopkeep is watching TV, and he's like, this is all just a big conspiracy for them to sell us more soda. There's been 13 soda commercials since they started airing all this crap on TV.
And while he's saying that, Morgan's like, yeah, so do you have books on extraterrestrials?
He's like, you don't believe all that, Hobastag, do you?
And his wife, I'm assuming it's his wife, the other shopkeeper,
the old lady,
the woman is just like, yeah, we got one in. We kept it in for them city folk who come in. We didn't think anything about it. It accidentally came here. And so she points him, and she's like, it's on the last bookshelf, 3 books in, you'll find it, like exactly where it is without even freaking looking.
Yeah.
So he goes and grabs that. She gets Bo some water, and Bo says the same thing of like, it's her second glass that she's gotten Bo, the shopkeeper has gotten Bo. And she's like, it tastes funny, or says something. And the shopkeeper's like, honey, we've got something wrong with our water. And Morgan's like, no,
it's not your water. It's just
her.
It's just her. It's like a tick, but worse.
Yeah. She's done this since she was a kid. Like, I don't know. And I was like, what, since she was 2? Like, she's not that old.
What do you mean? She's been doing this for a year and a half? Like, she is a very small child.
Yes. She's also just like Abigail.
4 or 5.
Yeah.
5 is older.
Yeah, 5 is the oldest I could see her being. And Abigail, as a human, is, I believe, on the shorter side. Like, I think she's only like 5'3". So her as a kid, like, little baby. And like, for me, I was also a very, very small child. Like, my mom told this story about, like, we were walking around Walmart, and someone was like, oh my God, she's so young to be walking. And my mom's like, she's fucking 2. I hope she's walking. But that's how small I looked. Like, I was tiny. Mm-hmm. So, like, it could just be that Abigail looks really young. But, like...
Could be, because that's also what, like... She looked too young to even be able to make the comment of, like, stop drinking all these, like, different glasses of water. Like, you're too old for that. It's like, is she?
Yeah.
She might just go to the nearest glass she could grab to get water and, like...
Yeah, so she could just look small, but like I would say no older than 5,
mm-hmm.
and that's with her looking young.
Well, and the shopkeeper's like, "Oh, okay, well, I guess that makes sense then."
Yeah, it doesn't even care about it. Anyway, Morgan looks at her and is like, I'll take it. Like, is gonna take the book. Back at the pharmacy clerk is in a full-on confession session with Graham, and as she's talking, she's like, and I said words like bastard. And is douchebag a curse? And he's like, it depends on the context. And
she's like, you're a douchebag,
Johnny for kissing my best friend or something. He's like, then yes. And she's like, well, then my cursing is not 31. It's 72.
I know. It's like, what?
And then, then a guy, like, peeks around Graham and just stares at them like, what? I just want to get my meds, man. Like, what's happening?
Yeah. So, and it cuts to the kids and Merle in the pizza shop, and Graham walks in there, and Merle's like, long line, and he was just like, nobody ever interact with that girl by yourself, ever.
Promise
me. He says it by name, so you think, like, you got to assume it's a small town.
Tracy something.
Yeah, he's like, y'all never spend time alone with Tracy. That, like...
Am I clear?
Am I clear?
Me. And they all nod, and they're like, okay, yeah. Sure.
And then they look outside, and Graham's like, "Oh, that's him," and it cuts to...
No, he doesn't say anything. He just like deadpan stares, and everyone follows his gaze.
He says something along the lines of like, "Yeah, okay." Merle says it.
Yeah. One of them is like, I think it's Morgan who's like, "Is that him?" And Merle is like, "That's him" or something. And Bo's like, who is that? And Graham is just like deadpan silent, staring at this guy who's getting into his SUV, who is M. Night Shyamalan.
I didn't even know that.
Yep.
My friend was watching the movie with me, and he pointed out that, like, wow, from an outside perspective, that probably looked pretty racist because it's just a white family, like, almost like shunningly staring at this Indian man as he gets into his car, and you're just like...
And we've only interacted with white people this entire fucking time. So yeah, it looks really racist that they're like, oh that's him?
Yeah.
You're like,
he pointed that out and was like, it never occurred to me. Also, like, back then, I think it was a different time. So that also, I don't think it just didn't occur. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like...
No, and especially being in small town Pennsylvania, like, it totally could have been a race thing, but M. Night Shyamalan just wanted to be in the movie.
Yeah.
So...
Which is fine. I think he did a great job, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, apparently he like makes cameos in a lot of his movies.
Interesting.
And I was like, I don't know if I've ever seen this man outside of interviews.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, again, we talked about this off camera, or off mic, that we haven't watched this movie since the early aughts of like 2005.
Yeah.
Like, we watched this when we were kids, so I didn't even clock that this was him.
Yeah.
Until I watched it this time.
Yeah, exactly.
Or they get back to the farm. Morgan has been carrying around the baby monitor, which he pulls out of his pocket, and it starts going off.
Yeah, it starts like making noise and stuff, and they mentioned that it had been broken before, or it just like didn't work.
They said that it's just old. Like, oh, it's probably just needs some batteries. Like, it's not actually doing anything. And that what you can hear are like moans, but like not like sexual moans, but like just like a
creak, not like creaking, but yeah, like and then clicking almost.
Yeah, there's a bunch of like clicks that they do, like a click, like a very insecty click.
Well, yeah, Morgan mentions something about like, oh, you know, like maybe I can intercept their frequency through this or whatever, and
Merle, not Merle. Morgan goes from 0 to 100 after reading this book in the bookstore on alien stuff. He's like, it's a code. I can intercept their frequencies and we can talk to them, and I know exactly what's happening. And they're like, we left you alone for an hour. Where is all of this coming from?
Yeah.
Merle and Graham take it, and Morgan's like, nobody move, because like they get a better signal, and they're like, no, let's just replace the batteries. And they try to get out of the car because Graham's like, I'm getting out now. And as he gets out, it goes off again once he's out of the car and like has a better signal. Then
Morgan's like, don't move. Everybody stop moving. And then
Merle tries to reach over and grab it, and it gets a better signal.
Yeah, like as they're passing it to each other, as Graham's passing it to Merle over the car, they both get a hold of it, and like in the middle of the top of the car is where like you can really hear it. And then eventually Morgan climbs up onto the car and grabs it, and
to get up higher to get a better signal.
Yeah.
And
Bo climbs onto the front, and Graham's like, what are you doing? Like, I don't want you on top of the car, but she just fucking...
So then he has to get on the car to stop her from falling off the hood of the car. And then once all four of them are touching and Morgan has it in the air, you get a really close, like, good signal. And Morgan's like, it's two of them. They're communicating with each other. And I was like, click, click, bubble pop, bubble pop. Yeah, that's definitely two of them. What? And they listen to it for a good, handful of seconds before it cuts directly to static.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's crazy.
Yes. And then we have...
Oh, Isabel, that's right.
What about Isabel?
They just, like, talk about Isabel. She's been tied up outside this entire time.
Yeah.
And just, like, I understand from Graham's point of view that he's like, Houdini tried to go after my kids. I need to keep the German Shepherds away from my kids, because even Caroline had said, like, the animals have been acting crazy. So Isabel's been tied up outside this entire time. But as a dog owner myself, I could not fucking imagine leaving my dog tied up outside 24/7 for days. Are you fucking kidding me?
No, it's a different... I mean, I know that, like, in that type of situation, like, the dogs are made for it a bit, but also... in the case of having a dog house and stuff, I don't like the being chained up thing. I don't think you should, like, if it's outside, it's one thing, as long as it has like shelter from the elements or like the sun. But then it's a matter of like Isabel is chained up outside of her thing, and I'm just like,
she's like chained up to the outside of a shed too. It didn't even look like she had a doghouse. Like, she was just like by a shed. And the thing is like, I understand chaining up a dog to let them outside for a while, especially because they're on like acres of farmland.
Yes.
Like if they don't have like a full ass fence, which doesn't make sense because the dogs were free running before this. I understand like, okay, we're going to let Isabel out for like an hour, just chain her up so she doesn't book it because, you know, German Shepherd sees a bunny, whatever, like books it too far, they can't find her. But like she's been outside chained up this entire fucking time. He's going to feed her and she's freaking out in the cornfield, like at the cornfield. And just like, he's a shit dad and a shit pet owner because it's not even like she's a guardian dog for their livestock because they don't have livestock. Yeah. Which I could understand more because like guardian dogs you usually have two, right? Like you have they go in shifts, you have the day shift and the night shift. Yep. And so that's what I originally thought Houdini and Isabel were. But then he just chains them up not near any livestock. So I was like, okay, so these are just pets.
That could have also been an oversight during filming of like, oh yeah, you know, dogs are on farms and, you know, like to protect the whatever. Yeah. But then like...
I guess they could also be used like for critters, right? If it's a farm like that, like chasing off like gophers or whatever. Yeah. You can tell we're not farmers. I have a garden, that's it.
Yeah, every time I've tried to own a plant, it's died, so...
You mean your basil? You guys' basil die?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah, our basil... rotted at one point.
Oh, did you water it too much?
Honestly, probably. It was fine, and then we actually, Tay's adopted mom was like, "Oh, these can practically live in water," so maybe we did overwater it because we ended up just like having it live in water.
Yeah, it can get root rot that way.
Anyways, no, not farmers.
So Isabel's freaking out in the cornfield. Pretty much to prove to himself that everything's fine, Graham grabs a flashlight and is going into the corn because he still thinks it's a hoax by people. Yes. He thinks someone's on his land, even with the newscast, all that kind of stuff. Oh, also at this point, he has made everyone stop watching TV since Caroline suggested it. Yes. No radio, no TV, no outside anything. Like, fuck that shit. Yeah. We're just going to be in our little isolated farm by ourselves. Yep. So he goes out there and he's looking around, doesn't see anything, ends up in the corn, the crop circle.
And he starts like yelling out, like, because he genuinely thinks that there's like actual people out there. He's like telling them like, you know, I'm not gonna, you know, you can stop with the fucking prank because I'm not gonna make you famous by calling the news or anything. Like,
yeah, no one's gonna know about this crop circle. You guys are barking up the wrong tree type deal. Then backs out of the corn because he gets freaked out.
Yeah, because nothing happens. He doesn't hear or see anything. It's just dark. And he starts to make his way back through.
The rustling of the corn starts freaking him out because there's like a light breeze. So he just keeps hearing rustling, which is like creepy in itself.
Yeah, he gets to that like walkway between the two big fields so you can like see really far down, you know, but it's just fucking corn on either side.
Yeah, it's like maybe like a 3 foot wide, maybe a little longer of a walkway. Yeah. He's looking around. He jump scares himself.
He jump scares himself by looking into the wall of corn and like, you know, it's because it's brushing around because it's windy. And he drops his flashlight. He like looks around and doesn't see anything. And he goes over and picks up his flashlight and it's out because it hit the ground. And so he like smacks it. And when he smacks it back
technology, where you can just hit it and make it work.
And this is one of those flashlights that's like as big as a lampshade. If you remember the big old fucking handle. And they weren't even like amazing flashlights.
No, either. they were shitty bulbs.
They were average.
And they had like the D batteries, like two to four of them in there, and it was just heavy as fuck. Like it could also be used as a weapon because it was just so heavy.
Oh yeah.
He knocks it on, and as he's like scanning around the corn again, you see a leg just step back into the corn.
Yeah, and it freaks him the fuck out, and he sprints back home. He kind of like shambles into the house with like that 1,000-yard stare a little bit because he's obviously freaked out.
Where everyone else is just chilling.
Everyone else is fine. Like Meryl's on watching TV on the couch, and the kids are at the sink like doing dishes and splashing each other. Like they're having a fucking great old time. And Graham just goes and sits at the table in the kitchen. And like everyone slowly starts to notice, and then like Morgan puts the dishes down and walks over and looks at him and is like, "Oh, something's wrong." And then like Merle turns around and looks over, and then Graham just kind of like looks straight ahead and is like, "We got to turn on the TV."
We can turn on the TV now. That's
like
fine.
We got to turn on the TV.
They turn on the TV to a news station that's showing 14 UFOs in the sky above North America.
There are these lights hovering above, what was it, New Mexico?
No, it's the U.S. and Mexico.
Oh, yes.
So it's that part of the U.S., which for them isn't super terrifying because they're on the East Coast. So they're like, oh no, over there, that's happening, that's wild. But it's still terrifying to know UFOs. And like the anchor talking over is like, this is not a hoax. No one has claimed that these are their airships. We have no idea what's happening.
Yeah.
Morgan here is super, super smart. Again,
oh, yes.
And he's like, we have to record this.
Yeah.
This is going to change the world. You have to show this, Bo, you have to show this to your kids when they're older. And she's like, my ballet recital, you can't, because you have to tape over on a physical tape.
So
like
this
a VHS
is back
tape.
with VHS. So he grabs
Her
Bo's old ballet tape from like an old ballet recital. And she's like, you can't record over this? And he's like, but Bo, he's like, this is going to change the face of history and science books as we know it, you know, and you got to have this video to show your kids that you were there.
And she's like, but my ballet recital.
My ballet recital. And Morgan's like, Dad? And Graham's like, go find a different tape. like,
and Morgan grabs Merle's tape and he's like, Merle, Uncle, I'm taping over. I'm going to use your tape. And it's swimsuit special.
Yes. And and you're just like, oh, okay.
I laughed. I was like, yeah, you can record over that. As soon as he starts recording, the anchor is like, this is going to change science as we know it. And he's like, told you.
Yeah. It cuts to like the same shot, but the kids are asleep on...
It's way late into the night.
And the kids are asleep on Merle and Graham's laps. They're still watching the TV, but like...
They just muted it.
Yeah. And Merle ends up asking Graham, like, you know, what do you think of all this? Like... What do you believe that this is
like the end of the world? He pretty much asks, like, he in a roundabout way is asking if he believes in God and whether or not this is a miracle or like, is this okay? Is this meant to happen? And Graham is like, yeah, no, I don't believe in any of that. He's like, you can't even, he's like, you can't even pretend to comfort me. You can't even do that. So Graham tells this whole thing about how there are two groups of people when something lucky happens. There's the group of people that think it's a higher power, somebody looking out for them. And then there are the people...
Or a sign.
Yeah.
We have our title.
The sign or a miracle. Well, the other group just thinks it's lucky, just thinks it's a coincidence. And he goes a little bit more into it, and he's like, so you have to decide what group are you in? Which then Merle tells a story about when he was out at a party drinking. He goes to go kiss this lady. He realizes that he has gum in his mouth. So he turns around, takes the gum out, puts it in his cup, turns back around. She's thrown up all over herself. And he's like, and I saw that as a miracle because she would have been kissing me when she threw up. So obviously someone's looking out for me.
Yeah, like I would have been scarred for life and this and that. And
that's just a wild story to be like, that was my miracle.
Yeah, 100%.
He then asks Graham which camp he's in. He's like, does it matter? And he presses the issue a little bit. And Graham comes back with, we're alone. Nothing fucking matters. There's no higher power. No one cares.
He essentially says, like, you want to know, well, because he mentions, he's like, you want to know the last words my wife said to me before she died?
See.
It was, see, and then...
Swing Merle.
Swing away, or swing away Merle. And he was like, you know what happened? The fucking neurons fired off in her brain as she was dying, and a random memory of us being at your baseball game popped into her head, and she fucking went. There's no fucking meaning to any of this shit. And you're like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense as to why he is no longer a pastor, because obviously, like, he went through something traumatic, and it shook his entire viewpoint.
Yeah, here in my notes I say, I did not realize this movie was like a poster child to believe in the Jesus God.
Yeah, I don't know if that, like, I know that they use religion as like the theme, but I almost, when I was watching it, I thought to myself, like, that almost would add an extra layer of fear for a lot of other people, because for that kind of thing to happen with aliens coming to our world, that would probably shift a lot of people's perspectives on religion as a whole, and being like, is there a fucking God, or is it all just like, is it all just like, you know?
Yeah, I would say there are probably two camps in this situation, right? The ones that double down on religion, and then the ones who are like questioning their faith. Yeah. Right. If you have two groups of religious people, I think is what I should say, of like someone doubling down on their religion versus someone who is now questioning their faith, because given the religious text to a lot of religions we have, there should be no one else. Like,
well, exactly. And that's my point. Yeah. So like for aliens to come visit, that would essentially be like proving a lot of people wrong in their faith in some ways.
For me, with this movie specifically, and I might cut this because I'm jumping straight to the end.
That's fine.
He literally becomes a pastor again. Aliens restore his faith in Jesus.
Yeah, but I don't think it was the aliens that restored the faith. It was the fact that like there's no such thing as coincidences, and that like
He literally, his son is dying from an asthma attack, and he said this was meant to happen. You were meant to have asthma so you didn't get poisoned by the aliens.
I mean, it makes sense because otherwise Morgan would have died from the poison entering his lungs. But because he had that asthma attack, his lungs had been closed and didn't go in.
I don't know if that's how asthma works.
That's how asthma works in their universe. Also, aliens exist in their universe.
They also gave him an EpiPen for an asthma attack, and I don't think that's how asthma works either.
No, that's not how that works. But again, honestly, to me, it sounds like M. Night Shyamalan just didn't do enough research.
No, actually, this whole thing is, I did research on this. M. Night Shyamalan, to asthma, yes. He did not do enough research on asthma. But M. Night Shyamalan's thing is like, yeah, this whole movie is pretty much like what happens when a man loses his faith. And I was like, I didn't realize you were a religious dude.
So it actually just is.
It is supposed
Okay.
to be religious rhetoric because also, we didn't mention it earlier, but when he's brushing his teeth right before the kids scream, there's that faded outline of where a cross used to hang right on the wall.
Mm.
And it's meant to be shown. And so this whole movie is about a man questioning his faith and what can happen if you question your faith.
Aliens will come visit and prove you wrong.
Yeah, pretty fucking much.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I guess we'll touch back on that when we get...
Yeah, maybe I'll cut this and place it at the end. I don't know, man. But
Oh,
now,
God, my brain.
this is like worse to me than Terrifier 3 with religious iconography, because in Terrifier 3, at least it's right in your face. Like with this one, I feel like they're trying to be like suave about it, like kind of like the undertones.
Yeah.
And for a lot of the scenes,
Like, oh, there's no coincidences for you either, viewer. Like,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
So-
no, I totally feel that.
so that's where my head is with a lot of this, and that's why I was like, this is a poster child for Believe in Jesus. We do get a flashback here as well of like Colleen in the accident, and Caroline was the sheriff there that was talking to Graham. He's like, what ambulance is she in? And Caroline's like, she's not in an ambulance.
And then he wakes up.
He wakes up on the couch.
Yeah, he wakes up on the couch. The kids are gone and Merle's gone and the
And the
TV's
TV's
gone.
And he just sees an extension cord across the floor.
Yeah.
He follows it to the Harry Potter closet where Merle has locked himself in there, and he's just going ham on the news. He's just like repeating like, they're here, they've gotten here, they have camouflage and they're still in the sky. This bird flew and hit it and then fell on the ground, and they've been replaying it, and they just got all this alien tech in it, to a point where like Graham
He
just
mentions
shuts the
that
door on him.
people think that they made the crop circles as like
Navigation.
for navigation. There's like to make a map or something like that. And yeah, he's like essentially repeating a lot of like what he's seen on the TV in the last 6 hours.
It's like 11 a.m. Yeah,
Yeah, because he says it's 11 a.m., but he was like,
the kids were up at 5.
Yeah, he says the kids were up at 5, and he mentions not wanting them to just sit and brain rot and watch TV for that whole time.
Because that's what they were doing.
And so, yeah, because that's what they were doing, and so that's what he ended up doing in the closet. Yeah, he's been at it for a while. And Graham leaves and ends up going to look for the kids, and they're in their bedroom, and they're both wearing tinfoil hats.
Yes.
And they're reading that Morgan Scott, the book that he got about aliens from the bookstore that they were at.
And it's fully sticky noted up. It has a bunch of tabs all over it. This kid has been poring over this book nonstop, to a point where Graham comes and sits down and is like, what you got there? Oh, hi, Midna. Go on.
Come on. No, go.
We have a dog invasion happening, and the alien invasion.
This episode is... Oh, God.
No, don't worry about it.
Anyways, yes, continue.
So Graham sits down and asks what they're reading. Morgan tells him it's a book by Bimbo.
Bimbo.
Dr.
Bimbo.
Dr. Bimbo. And Graham's like, Bimbo? And Morgan takes the book back, and he's like, wait, no, I'm sorry. He's like, you had a tone. And he's like, I'm sorry. Continue.
It's like, you can't read that. Like, you can't be a part of this if you're just gonna fucking make fun of it. Like, Morgan's so serious about it.
So serious.
Mind you, I don't think we mentioned this. This is one of Macaulay Culkin's brothers.
Oh,
So, like, essentially, imagine, you know, if you don't know who that is, imagine Home Alone kid, but like
tiny.
His brother.
Yeah.
And also, yes, a young child.
Because he's also like in Home Alone. Wasn't he like 10?
Yeah. No.
This kid doesn't look 10.
They literally all started out like acting at a very young age.
But he doesn't look. Compared to Macaulay Culkin, he doesn't look.
Well, also, Home Alone's an older movie. This movie came out in 2002. Home Alone came out in like the early 90s, I think.
So how old was Macaulay Culkin playing a 10-year-old?
Good question. Probably like 12.
All this to say, these kids are very tiny humans.
Yes,
they're very small kids.
Yes, but like...
I keep hampering on this because of
Morgan
how
is
small they are.
Yeah, Morgan definitely got that, like, it was because of your tone from, like, probably his mom.
Yeah, I could definitely
and,
see
like,
that.
his mom fucking calling out Graham on being a grumpy asshole on something.
So Graham's able to sit and listen to Morgan talk about it, which then leads to the two reasons aliens would invade.
Mm-hmm.
One would be if they're hostile, and the second one is for just purely explorative reasons. Nothing hostile, just to kind of see what's out there, like what we do with the Mars and Moon. Like, just want to go check it out.
To explore.
So those are the two options the book gives. Graham ends up flipping through the books. They get to some illustrations of what the aliens could look like. They're your stereotypical, like, grays, which is weird because that's something in the book says they would be grays, which if you don't, we're into aliens. So if you don't know aliens, stereotypical aliens are the grays, which are the short ones with gray skin.
Yes. Yeah. They most often have the same, like, head as, like, the green ones. You know what I mean? It's, like, the stereotypical,
oval. Yeah, like green aliens, you think of it as, like, the little toys you see around, like the stereotypical alien symbol we have.
But they're just gray with black eyes.
Yes.
And yeah.
And are you sometimes in, like, suits, sometimes not in suits, sometimes they're just, like, Ken doll style. Depends on what story you hear about.
Like, if you watched our All Hallows Eve episode.
This is not on video.
Yes. If you listen to that episode, the middle
Mr.
movie,
Wiggs.
Yes. Mr. Wiggs.
Our gray man.
He is a gray.
He's a tall gray.
He's a tall gray, but he is a gray, but like
yes.
He has a suit and that's like totally different. Point is there are a lot of different types, but the gray would be like
they're generally short, gray, black eyes, and that's in the book. Smooth. No hair, nothing like that. In the book, that's the alien the author talks about are the grays.
Mm-hmm.
But what we've seen in this movie thus far, they are tall and stocky.
Yeah.
Like, judging from the shadow from the first one, in this leg we saw, like, this is not your gray. And so as soon as this kid is talking about a gray, I'm like, oh, you're so wrong. Yeah. This is definitely not a gray. But obviously he can't know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the time, I feel like grays aren't hostile. Like, when we hear about real-life abduction stories, whether you believe in them or not, people talk about grays being like...
They probe, and they may be invasive to one's anus.
They're definitely rapey.
But they're
not killing you.
But they don't kill. They will put you back into bed at the end of the night after shoving shit up your ass.
Yes. We're not saying they're good.
No.
But
none of that's good.
They just have what they... And, depending on... how far you are into alien lore. Who signed the contract? Do you know about this? How far are you? There's one of the presidents signed an agreement with Greys to allow them to abduct us, allegedly.
I feel like Nixon would have done that.
Was it Nixon and Hoover?
I feel like Nixon would have done that.
It was either the president or the person in charge of the CIA at the time.
Shady ass. Was Hoover in charge of the CIA?
I think so.
Oh.
Look, don't quote me on U.S. military
intelligence.
I don't.
Yeah, no, you're good. I
think it was one of those shady ass motherfuckers allegedly made a deal with the Greys to allow them to abduct people in exchange for them not destroying our planet.
It's a good trade. I mean,
yeah, we're not dead, so
could be worse.
Yeah, I guess. But
anyway,
he comes across an illustration of their house. Pretty much, it is their damn house. There's flames coming out the window. There are 3 dead bodies in the yard.
It's an adult and 2 child bodies. Like, this picture is like
done in crayon.
If you believed in signs, you'd probably
be like, I need to get the fuck
shitting yourself.
I need to get my kids the fuck out of here. This is my favorite line Graham has. He's like, calm down and eat some fruit. Like, everyone just needs to calm down. It's like the equivalent of, like, go touch some fucking grass. He's like, calm down and eat some fruit.
So good.
And I'm going to start using that.
Oh, yes, 100%.
Which is great. So, Graham...
And then the phone rings.
Yes.
As they're, like...
As he's doing all of this, like, freaking out about everything.
And so he goes and he picks up the phone. He doesn't get much.
Yeah, he says hello. Someone on the other line says hello, and it's a male voice. He's like, hello, hello. And line cuts dead. So he's scrambling to get ready. He recognizes the voice on the other line, and he tells that to Merle.
He tells Merle that it's Ray Reedy, or Reedy?
Ready, something like that. Like
Ray something. And
he's going to go to his house.
Yes. He goes to his house. He walks up to the car.
The door. And it's locked, or like he can't get in, and he looks in the window and the house is all disheveled, and he turns around.
He looks and sees, like, inside the house there's like some chairs knocked over and like a lamp and stuff, and he's like, what the fuck? And yeah, he turns around. And
in the SUV is M. Night Shyamalan as Ray, who is also, if you looked at the mailbox, the vet.
Oh shit.
He's the vet.
Oh, okay.
So he goes down to talk to him, and the dude... This is who killed his wife.
Yeah, this is also the same guy they saw while they were eating pizza, where they had that really, like, from an outside perspective, it would look kind of racist.
Yeah.
Because they're all just looking at M. Night Shyamalan like, You're
ruining our town, how dare you.
You did this.
But it turns out he fell asleep while driving and accidentally fell asleep at the wheel, and...
Ray's in his SUV, and like his SUV's packed.
Yeah.
Like he's got like a bunch of shit in the back of his SUV, like he's ready to go. And yeah, Ray essentially finally he's like, I've had your number this whole time, but like
I haven't been able to call you.
In all the 6 months, I haven't been able to call you, and so he essentially explains like, how it was like it was fate and like. All this shit because
it had to have been fate because there had been 0 cars on that road and she was the only thing there. Like this it just was meant to be.
Yeah, he's like, if I fell asleep at any other moment, I would have just woken up in a ditch with a headache. But like it had to be that moment. And you're like, oh, okay. But he does apologize to Graham.
And Graham just says like right.
Graham says right, but I mean he does like break.
He breaks down, but he doesn't like accept the apology. He just says right, and then Ray says, I heard they don't like water, so I'm going to the lake.
Yeah.
Also, don't go in my pantry. I trapped one of them in there, and then speeds off.
Yeah. And Graham's just like, what? And he looks over at the fucking house, and that shit freaked me out when I was younger. Because at that point, I'm like, there's one in there right now? You're fucking kidding me? Like, holy fucking shit. Like,
Yeah, and the fact that he doesn't immediately call Caroline.
No, Graham just goes into the house.
Because he is still under the assumption it's a hoax.
Yes.
He thinks that whatever is in there, and he says it, is like, I'm with the police, like, tell me who you are, son, like, don't throw your life away for anything, like, for a silly hoax.
He sees a shadow under the door of the pantry, and, like, not boarded up with, like, boards nailed into the wall, but it has, like, a turned over table. Like, it's... Yeah, like, and
when everyone talks about this scene, they're always like, oh, you just shut him in the pantry and he can't get out. No, it was, like... There's stuff in front of the door. Yeah. It's not just a pantry door that the alien couldn't get out of.
Yeah, so, like, Graham sees a shadow under the door, and he starts, like, impersonating a cop, being like, well, we've already caught some of your buddies, and as long as you come out and, like, cooperate, you won't get charged. We'll give you the same deal. Like, acting like a cop. And there's no response. And so he's like, oh, okay. He gets on his knees to try and look under the door, and he can't get a good look, so he, like, looks up. And on the counter is like some half chopped up carrots and
some
like
veg.
some
like
vegetables
and stuff,
and like a lemon's like half cut. So you can tell that like this dude was like in the middle of some shit before
the alien came.
This thing just showed up and fucking started wrecking havoc. And so like he grabs the knife that's next to the cutting board and puts it under the door to like use as like a mirror. Mm-hmm. And you don't see anything besides like
also,
some
that's
cans.
A super shiny knife.
Yeah, very shiny knife. That he uses, and you only see like some canned food and some stuff on the shelves. You don't really see anything, and then he like gets up and goes to walk away, but then he's just like he runs back and fucking goes back at it again because like he just can't help but like he needs to fucking know.
He's got to figure it out. So he slides onto his side and is going to stick the knife under there again to look. And before he can, a freaking 3-fingered claw just like
reaches out and he grabs the knife and
just snaps, cuts off the little fingy tips of this poor alien and then leaves.
Yep.
And while that was happening, Merle is back home watching the news.
Yeah, and then it cuts. Well, Graham gets home, and Merle and the kids are all sitting on the couch, and they all have tinfoil hats, including Merle.
Oh, before that though, before Graham gets home, Merle watches the video of
that's
the
right.
alien.
Oh my god,
so
this is the craziest part. So while
happening with Graham,
yes, while that's happening with Graham, it's like cutting back and forth to him and Merle. And Merle's in the closet watching the TV, and the news reporter is saying that like they just got this new footage in from some guy in Brazil
at his son's like 7th birthday party or something.
Who got this video at his son's birthday party. It's fucking disturbing and, you know, seems unedited. And
watch at your own risk. Like, this could disturb people.
And then they play it, and it's this dude, like, holding a video camera, and there's a ton of kids crowding around this, like, back door, and they're all screaming and pointing and shouting, and, like, all you see is, like, the bushes and,
like,
you know,
the
there's,
birthday
like,
table and that kind of stuff.
A half-cut birthday cake, so, like, they were obviously in the middle of something, like, celebrating a birthday before they all clamored inside. You know, everyone's panicking and stuff, and then all of a sudden, like, everyone starts to run into the room next, and you see all of that, and so the camera pans over and sees everyone, like, crowding behind this next window, and so it follows all the kids over, and it looks over out this window, and it's just like...
It's like an alleyway kind of thing?
Yeah,
like,
it's an alleyway that ends at a street, but it's not like...
It's literally like the house alleyway, like if you like a walkway up to a house, but there's like the garage wall and like bushes, so it's like kind of like an entryway, and so you just have like this door-sized sliver of street. Yeah, and all
the kids are shouting and like getting in the way, and at one point Merle's like, "Vamonos, kids, vamonos! Get out of the way! Get out of the way!"
The kids are screaming in Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese, and then in English, one of the kids says, "It's over there," or "It's behind that," or something like that, and you just watch like as this green, tall alien, Bigfoot style, walks out.
Like fucking clamber across the alley walkway. This is the scene that everyone, like, you go on Reddit and everyone's like, oh yeah, this scene scarred me as a kid. I'm 32 now, and this scene fucked me up as a kid. Like,
see, mine was the first time we saw it on top of the roof. That shadow version of it freaked me out so much more.
Oh, God. It being in the, for me, honestly, it being in the pantry was like terrifying to me as a kid. But yeah, this is the scene that everyone was like, oh my fucking God.
It kind of makes me think of Green Goblin. And like now as an adult looking at him, like it kind of looks like, you know, low res Green Goblin from the original Spider-Man trilogy.
So good.
Like this is also where I kind of went off on a deep end of researching aliens. Because we already did it a little bit talking about the Greys and stuff, but the only like IRL, if you believe in aliens, canon we have of like tall green ones are either reptilians or mantis. Yeah. And I was like, he ain't either one of those. Like, M. Night Shyamalan, where are you getting your references from on this?
Is it when Graham comes home that Merle mentions it to him finally? Like he's talking to Graham about the aliens, and I think he even mentions the video that he saw. But then he's like, they can camouflage.
Yeah. Yeah, so he was probably matching the bush that was right next to it.
Yeah, so he's like, that makes sense. That's why we couldn't see him that night. Like, that's why they were extra dark silhouettes, because not only was it dark out, but they were probably camouflaging themselves black. So when they tried to give any sort of, like, description of these things to Caroline at first, they can't, because it's just...
Yeah, it's just matching what's around it, which makes more sense. And them having camouflage also makes more sense. For everything. I forgot about the camouflage for him. Yeah. He was probably trying to blend into the bushes, which I wonder if we went back and watched that original scene.
If you could like see it standing there with the cake,
could see it at all.
Like behind the cake.
Yeah.
I never even thought, like, I didn't think about that, honestly.
Because like later when we get to it, the basement scene, that camouflage, wild. So when they get home, when Graham gets home, he says the whole... Before I get like too much into the weeds of it, freaking Ray said, I heard they don't like water, right? So we have that. Why the fuck did they come to a planet that is 75% water? If they don't like water, they didn't like do their little scanners and say, hey, that compilation of atoms right there hurts us, or we don't like that.
I mean, to be fair, they probably saw the fact that they could land on land and, you know, not see water in any direction on many points on the planet and just say, yeah, that works too. I mean, because it's not like they had to take preventative measures to like go underwater or anything. You know what I mean? Like they just had to not go near water. That still leaves them with
quite a bit of
like, if you took away 2 billion people, and like that's a generous number for the amount of people that live really close to water. Probably not actually, but like you get my point. That would still leave 4 billion people that are all landlocked enough to where like these aliens would feel comfortable enough to like. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it totally makes sense. So now Graham comes home.
Yes.
To see Merle and the kids all on the couch with their tinfoil hats on. Mm-hmm. And he's like, what the fuck is happening? And they start like all explaining everything that kind of happened. And Graham is like, I heard that they don't like water. I want to take everyone to the lake. And someone says, no, let's vote on it or whatever. And
Morgan, because Morgan doesn't want to leave.
No, he's like, why? We should be safe here. Like, they're probably not hostile or whatever. It's not going to be violent. Like, we should just stay here. And so they put it to a vote. And Graham and Bo want to leave. Merle and Morgan want to stay. Mm-hmm. Then Graham says he's a tiebreaker because he counts as 2 adults. So 3 people want to leave, but Morgan says he doesn't want to leave because this is where they live with mom. He doesn't want to leave. Mm-hmm. And then Bo's like, I'm changing my vote. I don't want to leave.
Yep. And then it becomes 3-2 technically because, yeah, Merle and both kids versus, you know, Graham's 2 votes, whatever. And so he's like, okay. And this is, again, one of those points where, like, the kids win and he's just like, okay.
Fine. We're fortifying everything.
And so he sits on the couch and he looks over and he's like, we're going to board up all the windows.
Yeah, they're going to board up everything. Is it Merle who says like, oh, why do you think boards are going to help? And Graham says they seem to have problems with pantry doors.
Yes. Yeah. So they end up actually boarding up
everything from the inside. So they're going to board up the windows. They decide that they're just going to board up the bedroom doors.
Because they don't have enough boards for like every window. So they're just going to do the whole bedroom doors. Which I guess we should have
explained the house. The house is your stereotypical Victorian style.
Like 2-bedroom farmhouse. Or not 2-bedroom, 2-floor. Yes.
2-floor farmhouse.
2-story farmhouse. Jesus.
Which it definitely probably has more than 2 bedrooms, and like the kids share a bedroom, which I think is interesting. Because I wonder if they could not do that. But there is a room that we see later that they kind of use as like a storage room that seems to have all of mom's stuff in it. So I wonder if like because of how old, I don't know. It just seems weird that they don't have more space for the kids to not have to share a room. Also, production side, the house is painted red, white, and blue. The house is blue, the trim is white. The if you heard that was our lovely little lad outside.
Yeah,
our little boys.
Dog choking. Love it.
The trim is white, and then the shutters are red. And according to the interview I watched, this house is supposed to represent America. And it stands on its own, and the only thing saving this house from sheer destruction is a man's faith in what he believes in.
Ooh. Oh, I get it now. Oh, God. Fucking, God. I'm sorry. I struggle with that, like, toxic patriotism. And that, to me, is, like, that kind of screams a little bit.
Have you seen, I think it was a text post, I don't know if it was on Twitter or Tumblr or something, where it's just, like, this guy who's German, he's like, they seem to have a lot of patriotism. We did too at once until it became a problem. And I was just like, oh, fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, the whole house and this is, I don't have more words for that. You guys sit with that. You sit with us in this thing.
I would prefer you listeners out there to watch this movie in the perspective of you get to watch a regular class family try to cope with the end of the world.
And to kind of play devil's advocate with all of the patriotism in this, they started filming the day after 9/11.
I rescind my comments because that is that's fair, 100%. I mean, of all the times to really like try and instill that into media, that would definitely have been the time.
But also on the opposite side of that as well, that means all of these sets and stuff were already built pre 9/11. So they had this in mind before 9/11 happened. But just to keep that in mind for all of everyone who watches this, like this was filmed, like they had a candlelight visual right before they started filming.
I don't joke about any tragedy, but you know, that was just such a like of any time to really like be patriotic about shit. I think that would have been the time.
This is also like the second movie we've reviewed that was filmed around 9/11 because 28 days later was as well.
Yeah, and that was, I mean, granted, I didn't think that like obviously people in foreign countries didn't feel it as hard as like the United States did, I think. But like they still felt it. But anyways,
they've been watching news consistently now. So as they're boarding up everything, as they're boarding up everything, Morgan is watching TV, and there are so many, I couldn't even count them all, of UFOs in the sky.
Hundreds of lights.
It's all over the place, and Morgan compares it to War of the Worlds, which this was filmed in 2002.
I think, was that Merle that compared it to War of the Worlds?
He might have. One of them compared it to War of the Worlds. And I was just thinking, what War of the Worlds do you think they were talking about? Because at this point, there was the book, there was the radio broadcast that everyone thought was real, and there was a movie adaptation that happened in 1953.
Yeah, like the really old.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was like, I wonder, because he doesn't strike me as the type of guy, because we didn't talk about this, I wanted to bring this up.
Oh.
When they're in the car
Yes.
talking about it possibly being an alien invasion with the baby monitor, he's like, it was made by a bunch of fucking nerds who want other nerds to join their damn club and just be nerds because they can't get girlfriends. And this is like whole point for the entire thing. And Bo's like, why can't they get girlfriends?
It's so funny.
And Morgan's doing the thing and he's like, the nerds are winning. Like this is...
It's so great.
So it had to have been the movie, right? There's no way this dude read the book. Like
definitely. I think so. Yes.
Morgan says he wishes Merle was his dad.
Yeah, and Merle's like, don't you ever fucking say that. Like, that's fucked up.
But I can see where Morgan's coming from because, like, Merle is the one who's like, I'm going to protect you. Like, I'm not going to let anything bad happen to you kids. He's the one who picked up Bo. He's the one who's been there consistently showing up for these fucking kids every step of the way when dad can do fuck all and, like, not in a bad way. I know he's dealing with his grief and we, unfortunately, like, that can happen when you lose a parent. Like, the other parent just, like, concaves in on themselves and kind of neglects their kids. Yeah. Like, they need community more than anything when they lose a spouse like that. Yeah. But you can't fucking neglect your kids, man. Nope. Like, and don't get me wrong, if something ever happened to my wife, I'd be a living wreck. Like, I don't know what, like, but we have a deal set in stone right now because we are trying to have kids that if the other person has to fucking live for our kids, if our kids are young, especially this long, like, I don't give a shit. Like, whatever you have to do to be alive and show up for your fucking kids is our deal. Yeah. Like, and so I could not imagine being this neglectful of a damn dad. Like, Morgan had to kill his own dog, and we haven't even talked about this, and now aliens exist and are coming down, and you're not showing up as a dad? Yeah. Not even, like, a protective figure of, like, this is my house, and I'm gonna protect you guys, and I'm gonna be the strong dad, because, like, okay, dad, you might not be able to show up for emotion, but you can show up for, like, physical protection, and you're not even fucking doing that. Yeah. So I don't blame Morgan for being, like, I wish you were my dad because you're the one who's been showing up this entire time. I agree, but I also, on the flip side, I think it was good that Merle was like, you don't fucking say that because like no matter what his dad did or did not do for him, he still was making a lot of like he still made so many sacrifices. My point is like, you know, the things Graham is doing are things that cannot be seen by a child. Yes. Is the problem. And like if past this movie, when the kids get older, they would be able to see what everything Graham did for them. Yeah. But in the moment, especially not seeing it, like they have no fucking clue. And we'll talk about it here in a second too, because Merle says he's gonna make him sandwiches for dinner, but Bo says she wants spaghetti. Merle tries to shoot it down, but Graham's like, no, spaghetti sounds great. what do you want, Morgan? And Morgan's like, I want fucking French toast and mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
Merle says he wants
chicken teriyaki.
And Graham's like, and I want a fucking bacon cheeseburger with extra bacon.
Yeah.
So they're going to have a kick-ass last meal is what he is essentially making them eat.
Graham's essentially like, we're going to have a last meal and we're going to ride out the end of the world together. Like that, and that'll be it.
So we get the dinner scene.
Yeah, we get a really messy kitchen, and then we get them all surrounding each other at the dinner table.
Everyone with their chosen dish.
Everyone with the exact dish that they wanted.
No one eats. No one's eating. Yeah. And Graham calls it out and he's like, what? Why is no one eating? And Morgan says something and Graham's like, no, then I'm gonna have one of everything, and starts taking things from people's plates. Morgan says he hates him. Yeah. And that he let their mom die. Yeah. Bo starts crying. Graham's like, well, I'm gonna fucking eat this, and he starts like chowing down, letting Bo cry, letting everything happen. And Morgan had started crying, and as soon as he like bites into like a thing of mashed potatoes or the French toast, he breaks down.
Yeah, he starts crying, and it's this. Yeah,
he pulls Bo in, or I'm sorry, Morgan goes to comfort him. Then he pulls Morgan. Jesus fucking Christ, what is with me in names today? Morgan goes to comfort Graham. Graham then grabs Bo, pulls them into a bear hug, and then grabs Merle's shirt and forces him into the bear hug. Into the bear hug as well. So, and they all just
it's a very heavy scene because like there's a lot of things. I think there's a million things running through Graham's head, and then like obviously the emotions are running high, and you can't like emotions slip. And not to say that that what he did is okay, but like. It fucking happens.
He's breaking down, man. He definitely has not grieved his wife.
No.
He has given up his faith, has not grieved losing his faith. He can't handle being a single dad. He doesn't, like, there's so much shit happening in his head. And poor Bo has no idea what's happening except that aliens are here and things could be bad, but like probably also doesn't really understand or like still is trying to comprehend losing mom. Mm-hmm. So like there's just so much shit happening, and this is a cry everybody needs, but they don't get it for long because the baby monitor goes off at the end of the table.
Yep.
The TV, Graham goes to find the TV in the closet because they still have just left it in the closet.
Yep.
It's the end of broadcast signal, and anyone in this generation probably doesn't know it, but it's just like that gray screen with a bunch of lines on it, like,
and the tone, like the dead tone of just like brr, like
it doesn't happen anymore because TV's 24/7. But there used to be a set time of like midnight. TV got caught up because no one was, that was their job, that was their end of the day.
No one was airing anything.
Yeah, it wasn't all automated. So they continue boarding up doors and closing windows and doing all this kind of stuff. We get the same shimmer effect as the start of the movie. When Graham is in one of the bedrooms, he's looking out the window, and we don't get to see what he's looking at, but we get that same shimmer effect here, where he backs out of the bedroom and is like, hurry the fuck up, Merle. And they start boarding up things again.
I didn't even realize that like, I didn't see it. I mean, I know what scene you're talking about, but like, I didn't see the shimmer. It's just, I guess shimmer might not be the right word. It's like that wavy, like, the type
I know effect. Yeah. This is the second time it happens, and the aliens are here. Because we heard it on the baby monitor.
Yeah.
We heard it here. Or, like, saw it here. So, like, that makes a lot of sense for me, for the person who said it was like, hey, we had that shimmer effect at the beginning. That means the aliens are already fucking here, man. Like, and then right before they get the thing. So it's like this weird kind of signal that the aliens are around.
And then, they board up that bedroom and they go downstairs.
He starts telling Bo what happened when she was born while they're boarding up the bedroom, which is a weird time to do this, in my opinion. But he says, Bo, do you want to know the story of when you were born? You came right out of your mama, and you weren't even crying. And you open your eyes, and every nurse in there said you were a little angel because you had those big eyes. And I was like, isn't it bad when a baby doesn't cry? Like, isn't the whole point is to, like, make sure their lungs are working, is to make them cry?
I mean, I know that, like, they have the doctor do, like, all the tests on, like, the baby, so they'll, like, let go of them for a second and see if they, like, react and, like, jolt to like test their reflexes. Have you never seen this?
No.
It's fucking hilarious.
What?
It's like imagine a grown ass man just trolling a baby. It's like that's literally it, because he's just like snapping in front of his face. He'll like let go for a second, and the baby will be like, oh, and like open his eyes and like fucking reel back. Like it's fucking crazy. Like I mean, they have to test, to make sure that
everything's good.
Yeah, but it's just funny because I think. Literally, the first time I ever saw it, it was in the context of a meme where it was like, dude, this like guy's just fucking around with this baby. Like, it was just so funny.
What the fuck? I did not know that. Okay. And so while he's telling this story and about how Bo was just like this prettiest little angel, Isabel is insanely barking, like aggressive, and then you get some whimpers, and then you get some growls, and then silence, and
like, cool. Now the other dog's dead. Fucking M. Night Shyamalan, why are you killing off dogs?
Right? Then you hear the wind chimes on the porch, and you hear some creaking, and
they're now downstairs.
Yeah, they get to the end of the stairs when all of that starts happening.
Yeah, and they're like down in that like
foyer entry area.
Like against the wall of the stairs and like looking into the living room.
And can we talk about how Graham has like zero paternal instinct right now? Because he's just holding Bo in front of him. He doesn't like try to guard her, doesn't try to do anything. He just like has his hands gently on her shoulders in front of him.
I feel like that's also just a directive oversight of like...
how parents act?
No, of just like placing when they were filming. Like, oh, like, Bo, you stand here and for like, you know, you all like, crowd together. But like, I think they just didn't have this like stage knowledge of like, no, grab her and act like you are going, like,
hold her, do something, have her hidden behind you, do anything.
I just don't think they had that stage direction. Because they're all just sitting there like in a little circle, like following the noises as they're like banging around outside and like hitting on the doors and like hitting the wind chimes and stuff like that. It's creepy as fuck.
No, it's super fucking creepy.
You just picture like all these gangly gray fucking things like smacking on your house and like, you know, toying with your looking for weak spots, like probing the vicinity for any place to get in. Like, ew.
This is when it hit me too. You're telling me a rural farmer in Pennsylvania doesn't own one goddamn gun?
I had this, my friend actually said the same thing, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's probably because he was a pastor, and like, pastors would most likely rather die than to like self-defend with a gun and kill someone else. You know what I mean?
But I'm saying it from a farmer point of view. You don't have a gun to protect like from wildlife or like anything coming at you? Is that not a thing in Pennsylvania? Like,
I don't think wildlife goes after corn. Like violent wildlife goes after corn.
Well, maybe not.
You have to worry about birds.
Or if like they're wandering in, because like here, you know, we get mountain lions just wandering around.
I don't know how common certain like
bears. Like, I don't know anything about Pennsylvania.
Like in Pennsylvania though, I don't know if they have. I don't think they just have coyotes running through.
Well, not coyotes, but like, don't they have some kind of like big cat out there? Moose? I don't know.
Maybe.
Definitely not moose. That was a joke. But
but my point, like, my thought was like, even if he's no longer a pastor, you know, he's still probably got that like, I'm never gonna kill anyone. I'm never gonna have a gun. You know what I mean? Like that kind of mindset.
And I guess like also on the point of view of like they were talking about cursing being a sin too. Like he doesn't curse because he's a man of God, which is also really weird to me when people are like, oh, I'm Christian, I'm Catholic, I don't curse. And I was like, is that... I never, like, in my head, those don't correlate. So, like, even for me, that was weird. And I guess you're right. Like, he didn't believe in guns because he doesn't believe in violence. So he doesn't have one. It's just wild to me that he doesn't have, like, one just for, like, animal protection safety.
That would be my only explanation is, like, pastor no want pew-pew.
Graham now goes on to tell Morgan about how when he was born.
Yeah, and it's the exact opposite of Bo's, where, you know, hers was like she didn't make a sound and she was a sweet angel who smiled, and babies don't smile.
Oh yeah.
And then he was like, no, Morgan, you're the opposite. Your mom bled, and
they had to take you out of the room, but I wanted you to be the first thing she saw because she dreamt about you.
Yeah, it was a sweet story. Like he's essentially like trying to give them one last good thought of their mom before they all get fucking killed by aliens. But
yeah, Merle here is the real hero to me.
Yes.
Because as Graham is telling the story, Merle's like going up the stairs, looking around, like watching their backs, and he's like, "We forgot about the attic door."
Yep, you literally hear the aliens start to like bust in upstairs.
You hear some glass breaking and some like shuffling around, so they scamper down into the basement.
Yeah. They
as they're going into the basement too, a clawed hand appears from under one of the doors. I don't know which door it was, And I really hope it wasn't the back door, because to get your entire hand under a door, that's a really big gap.
Yeah.
Because it was like internally, like that door right there, I could probably squeeze my fingies under, right? But like, you should not have that big of a gap from an outside door. But Morgan's the one who sees it, so that's what made me think it was the back door, because he was looking right down that foyer into where the kitchen and stuff is. I was like, that's a weird door.
Maybe. Or maybe it could have been like the door to the garage or something.
No, because they have a detached garage. Remember, it's like that big barn thing they got.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
It was just a weird, maybe again, it was just an oversight for anything.
Yeah.
They scamper down into the basement where the lights are out.
Yeah, and they try to...
Are the lights out? No, the lights aren't out. It's bright when they go down there originally. And they shut the door. Graham's like body holding it, and Merle's looking around for something to hold it. And Graham's just like, find something to hold the door. And eventually Merle finds a pickaxe to wedge against it. And in my head, I'm like, that's my weapon. I'm not using that to hold the door closed.
Yeah.
But whatever. Then the lights go out.
Yes.
There's
like noises going on all over. They're like, yeah, there's like rattling at the door.
They try the handle.
Yeah, and, you know, they're trying to keep out, like, Graham and Merle, they're trying to, like, keep the door closed and this and that, and then...
Morgan finds a flashlight,
and then he realizes, like, they're not trying to necessarily just, like, hit the walls to, like, bust in. They're trying to, like, make noise to distract.
Yeah, it's a distraction sound, and Merle finds a radio, and he's trying to scan through to see if anyone knows anything. Nothing comes through. Then Morgan starts explaining, like... We don't have our tinfoil hats. They can read our deepest, darkest thoughts. Like, they know exactly what we're doing. While Graham is saying, they're just trying to distract us. They're just trying to find a way in. And Merle and him, like, start looking around. And Morgan's like, we needed our tinfoil hats. How are we going to protect our thoughts? And then Graham remembers, because of the house, how old the house is. This was really common in Victorian-style old houses. There's a coal chute to be able to run the boilers downstairs. Yeah. He's like, there's a coal chute down here somewhere. I don't know where it is. We gotta find it.
So they start scanning the basement room with flashlights, and they converge at the back of the room.
Where Morgan is standing.
In front of this, like, grate. And he's like...
What are you guys staring at?
Like, what are you looking at? And then you see this hand...
That was camouflaged
as the grate. Reach over and fucking grab Morgan, and then the flashlights flash and go out, and then you hear like the struggle, and you hear them like, don't grab him, like,
yeah, Graham's like, I got him, and Merle's like, okay, and then like Bo's able to grab the flashlight and shines it on Merle, who's stacking a bunch of like feed and seed or like soil stuff in front of it.
Yeah, against the grate, and then
he sits down, and there's like a Campbell's chunky soup can, and then he grabs it, like sticks that on top, and just sits down and is like,
yeah,
okay.
And then she looks over with the flashlight, and
Morgan is having an asthma attack, and they forgot his inhaler.
Yeah.
And Bo sits down on Merle and is like, I had a dream about this. And I'm just like, fucking Bo over here dropping just like all of this weird ass knowledge. And we didn't mention it earlier, but like during the whole earlier while Graham was out at Ray's house, Morgan and Bo were talking, and Bo's like, I have a really bad feeling. Like, please don't die on me. And he's like, Morgan is like, oh, it's one of those feelings. And she just like nods. And he's like, it's okay. I'm not going to leave you.
Well, he's like, is it a bad one? And she just nods. And he's like, don't worry. Like, I'm not going to leave you.
Like, everything's going to be fine. And so this is what this is the feeling. This is the dream of Morgan dying, is him dying from a freaking asthma attack because neglectful father didn't grab an asthma inhaler.
And to be fair, they were trying to run down in the basement to escape from whatever was busting into their house.
See, my thing is if you are boarding up a house and you're waiting to like,
oh no,
you're probably
you
going to converge.
Just probably have it already.
I'm surprised, like I'm no way blaming this on Morgan because he's a child. Like, I'm surprised he didn't already have an inhaler in his pocket, because we've already seen twice, like that he's just had one on him during an asthma attack.
Yeah,
and maybe it's because like they just went and bought new ones that he hasn't like grabbed his new one because he hasn't had an attack since they got the new ones.
Because I also know that Morgan holds on to his own.
Right, and that's what I'm saying is like maybe he ran out and he just because he hasn't had a need for one, he hasn't grabbed his new one yet.
Maybe when Graham went to go like grab him away, he then like while Morgan's in his lap having the attack, he goes to reach in to look to find the asthma thing in his pockets, like in Morgan's pockets, and realizes, oh shit, Morgan doesn't have his asthma thing in his pockets.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh fuck, so I think that could also be like
Morgan, like we've said, is a very reliable child and probably always has his inhaler on him, so dad didn't think about it, but me as a parent would be thinking about any contingency plan and would have been like, I'm grabbing the extra one just in case. But there was a lot of shit happening, not a lot of shade on him, but a little bit of shade, because your kid it's like not grabbing your diabetic kids insulin for them because they generally have it on them. Like, it's just something I feel like as a parent you should think about, but it is a stressful situation.
Yeah, so we then get to watch Graham try to help like work Morgan through a very bad asthma attack. It's pretty sad. It's like hard to watch, especially if you like struggle with that kind of stuff, because like kids struggling to breathe, and like
he's like, just breathe with me, like we are one. And this whole time Graham is like talking to God, I think, where he's like, I hate you, you're not going to do this to me again. And it's just
because
like,
I had captions on, and when he says I hate you, they capitalized you.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
I also had captions on, but I did not catch that.
Yeah, they capitalize you.
I figured from him saying like, you're not going to do this to me again, that's when he started talking to God, and it's like, I hate you. For
anyone who didn't have captions on, that's why they put that extra little dialogue in there. But yeah.
And then he finally gets Morgan to breathe normally. And is that how an asthma attack works? Because I know like with a panic attack, that's how you can get it to work. Like you can calm someone down. Is that the same with an asthma attack?
Sort of. So I definitely think panicking exacerbates it. And like you definitely want to do like slow, like calm,
intentional
deep breaths. Yes. But like when you're a child and you're
panicking because an alien just attacked you,
and you also can't breathe, and you're panicking because you can't breathe, and then you try to like reach for it, but like it all kind of compounds and stuff. So
I just don't have asthma, so I didn't know. Like my mom has asthma.
So long.
My mom has asthma, but I've never seen her had like a full-on attack. I've just seen her have to use it for like little things, nothing like major like this. So I wasn't sure if it was something that you could just kind of breathe through. And they kind of do that. Like they breathe through it enough to get him to breathe normal, but he still is wheezing. So his lungs aren't open enough.
Yeah.
Taking context clues from what we talked about earlier? ? They turn off the flashlights.
They turn off the flashlights,
save them,
because they're like, that like we're not getting out of here anytime soon. Like they're just gonna
sit in the dark or go. They pretty much go to bed. It's like, we're gonna turn off the lights. We're gonna wait this out, which sends us into the flashback again. And this time it's Father Graham, and I say that because he's in his pastor gear, talking to Colleen, who is pinned between a truck and a tree. And it's, if you've heard of accidents like this before, it's where she's pretty much cut in half, and as soon as they move the vehicle, she's just gonna die. Like she's bleeding out as is now, but she's coherent enough. At this point, I'm like, we haven't talked about the cinematography, because I knew we wouldn't, because I forgot to bring it up. The cinematography of this movie is so fucking good. In this scene, you are Father Graham walking to his wife, and the camera moves to look at Ray, who's sitting on the ground between cops and paramedics. Then it looks at the trees, and it's looking around, and it's like, it's that first person POV, and you can hear his feet crunching, and like the cinematography of this movie, fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Do really love it across the board. Anyways,
depressing ass fucking part.
Oh, it's so fucking sad. And I think this might have been the first thing they filmed, and this was right after the candlelight vigil for 9/11 and stuff. And so it adds to the ambiance, for better or worse, right? Like this is what they're doing. The radio chatter is going. Oh, I'm sorry. And that's it. That's all we get. We don't get them talking fully yet.
He starts walking towards the truck, and then like you don't quite get to see the face, like her face. And then, he wakes up again. It
wakes up and to radio chatter. Merle has the radio on, and he's talking about how, like, oh, they left. They didn't even grab their wounded. They just fucking dipped. Like, the aliens are gone.
Yeah.
And it's talking about how, like, someone had to figure out their weakness because everyone
only a couple small villages in, like, the East figured out.
Yeah, the Middle East found a primitive way on driving them back. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean, a primitive way?
Well, we'll talk about it once we get to it. Yeah, they basically hear that, like, they're gone. Graham and Merle are almost like, just like too good to be true, almost, like, obviously. And so they're very skeptic about, like, going upstairs, but they're also like, we need to go get that asthma medicine.
Yeah, Morgan is still, he's sleeping, but he's like wheezing. Like you can hear it in his breath that it's very hard for him to breathe. And Merle gives like he kind of like, not flashes back. What's the word? Like, when you bring up something from the past, like
ruminate.
reiterates maybe the conversation they had about miracles and faith and like whether or not things are coincidences, and he brings that up again. And they say like they have to be sure before they open the door that no one's up there, so they use the baby monitor and wait like 0.2 seconds of hearing nothing.
They hear just regular static, which before, when there were aliens, you'd hear like clicking and the weird stuff. Now it's just static. It's
and they're like, you know what? Good enough for us. Let's go. They're like, yep, we're gonna go. And so Merle goes up first and does the quickest sweep.
He looks around. Yeah, you literally see him go upstairs. And
go to the left.
Go to the left, and the shot is just looking up the stairs
from
out
the
door from the bottom of the basement. And so you don't see anything for a minute, and then all of a sudden Merle appears
from the left again.
From the left, and is just like, he doesn't even say anything, just kind of like nods that like it's good. And so Graham ends up bringing Morgan upstairs in his arms, and
he tells Merle to grab the EpiPens, the epinephrine pins. Which, do you use EpiPens for asthma? I
think in the case, because I thought, because we talked about this in the beginning, I think in the case of your lungs not giving out, but like, you know, like having issues, I think just the rush of adrenaline
just helps
in general is what keeps people alive long enough to get them to the hospital. So
it's like when you're having like anaphylactic.
It's not like that will cure the anaphylaxis. It will put my body into an adrenaline rush and allow my body to like work through this shit long enough for me to get medical attention.
Okay, so it's not to cure the attack, it's to just get him stable.
It's not a Benadryl shot. Like it's not like an allergy shot. It's more of like an adrenaline shot.
Okay, because in my head, like I have an EpiPen for my anaphylactic reactions to things, right? So like in my head it's just because of allergies, but I guess that makes sense, like that you could do it for like anything to do with the lungs. That will get your blood flowing to like an extreme degree to make sure that like your body will be able to properly work overtime to fight against what it is fighting. This is making me think of one of the Fear Street movies, and you haven't seen those, and we really need to cover those.
It's coming up, isn't it? Where are we gonna?
I think we can do those because we have almost all the way through December planned now. So if you want to start the new year, we can do all 3 Fear Streets. So I don't know. We can figure it out. We can look at a calendar after this. But yeah, there's a scene that they deal with epinephrine shots because of shit. So that makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Yeah. So Merle goes over to the cabinets and grabs those. Meanwhile, Graham puts Morgan on the couch, and you see Bo run in from like next to the stairs, and she's like, "Daddy, there's people on TV and they're dancing like this," and she starts doing a little shimmy.
Yeah,
it's really fucking cute.
And he's like, "Well, how are they dancing?" And she's like, "They're dancing just like this," and she does it again, and it's so freaking cute.
And Graham's like, "Well, why don't we bring the TV back out and you can show me what you're talking about?"
Yeah, because he's like he asked Morgan, he's like, "Oh, do you want to see?" And Morgan's like, "Yeah, I want to see."
So he goes into the closet and he grabs the TV and he goes to like wheel it out back into the living room.
The reflection.
And, he pulls the TV into the living room and like aligns it back up to face the couch. And as he aligns it, there's a fucking silhouette behind him. And you're like, what the fuck? And then like he turns around. There's an alien just in their living room.
Holding Morgan
now in its fucking arms. And Morgan's like, you know.
Limp as fuck.
And it fucking has its claws up towards Morgan's face.
It has the thing. It has the
little wrist probe.
Yeah,
that fucking shoots out, and it's like
Mr. Wiggs did.
Yeah, like Mr. Wiggs.
But instead of being a tentacle, it's like this spike.
Yeah,
and it shoots poison gas into Morgan's face.
Merle walks up and like, you know, is stunned and they're all just kind of standing there, and this alien's like looking at them with this look of like, don't move, like I'll fucking do it.
He's cornered, is his look of like, this is my last chance out, like if you do anything, I'm killing this kid. And then it zooms in and its hand is missing 2 fingers, and then it does like a quick flash of like Graham cutting off the thing's fingers from before. And you're like, oh, okay. Well, which leans into the nothing is coincidental.
Yes, which leans into nothing is coincidental. And as this is happening, then we get the flashback of Graham actually going to, like, we finally get him going to the truck in the accident in the flashback.
Yeah, I said it starts, so the alien starts chattering at them, and then Graham is having an existential crisis getting the rest of the flashback of Colleen being dead.
Yes, and we get this shot of like looking at Colleen, and she's pinned against the car, and he's asking her questions, you know, like, are you does it hurt, anything like that? And like they're having that conversation, and then she tells
she also says it was meant to be. She's like, I was just walking before dinner. It must have been meant to be.
Yeah.
And it's just like, who the fuck says that about their own death?
Yeah. And then she starts to, say goodbye, and then she's like, tell Graham I said to
oh yeah, she goes down the line. She's like, tell Bo to listen to her brother because he'll take care of her. Tell Morgan it's okay to be silly and play games.
Yeah.
Tell Graham to see. He needs to see.
Yes. And then tell Merle to swing away.
Yeah.
And then she dies. And then it's back into the living room, and Graham is looking at the alien, and it fucking squirts this like poison out of its spike
right into the nose and mouth area of
right
Morgan.
Into Morgan's face. Graham looks over and sees the baseball bat
with the plaque of his Merle's home run
that Merle, I guess, got his home run with, and it's hung up on the wall, and he tells Merle to swing away. And so Merle goes over to the baseball bat and grabs it off the wall, fucking
clocks the
alien, and it like falls and hits an end table or something, and it falls over, and water splashes onto its shoulder,
and it looks burns, like acid burns.
Yeah, it looks like somebody poured acid all over it. So it fucking starts smoking, and like it's like bloody and stuff, and it reels, and then it hits Merle like, oh shit, this thing doesn't like water.
And then you get a zoom out shot of every single glass Bo has left, and it is tens and 20s
There's so
of them.
many glasses of water all around the house. And so Merle starts swinging at the glasses of water to like splash all over this alien.
In between like hitting him as well. Like he'll clock him, then he'll click water, like hit him with water, do that kind of stuff.
Graham runs the kids outside, and fucking Bo runs up to the window to watch continue watching this go down. And he fucking Merle clocks the alien again, and you get a cool shot of him like hitting the alien, and then like the camera cuts to the alien's perspective, and it like falls backwards.
Yeah, you get to be the alien getting hit by this
fucking
baseball
smacked backwards.
It's so cool. And then you watch a cup of water fall into your POV of just splashing you, and then it zooms out to the third party POV again, and you watch like this alien just like twitch and breathe its last breath before it like fully collapses.
Yep. And then it cuts to Graham outside, and he's got Morgan on the ground with him, and he shot him up with the epinephrine in the thigh. Now he's holding him, waiting, and he's like, give him, don't touch him, give him room to breathe, give him a second, and Merle comes over and touches his pulse point on his neck, and he's like, Graham, and he's like, don't touch him, and like, give it a second.
And Merle steps back and is losing it. He's starting to cry. He's like holding his face, and Bo's like, what's happening? And he's like, give him a second, it's okay. And he's just like reassuring himself pretty much. And he's
like, he didn't breathe it in. The asthma attack closed his lungs. He didn't bring in the poison.
It was all meant to be. He was meant to have asthma. And you're just like, bro, what the fuck are you saying? That your son was meant to have asthma because God's plan was that aliens were going to attack, and your kid would have asthma and not die by poison, and your wife would be dead.
Your wife died just so that she could help you defend yourself from the aliens at some point.
And your daughter is a weirdo who leaves water everywhere because someone told her that aliens were going to come and that needed to exist.
To be fair, if that many coincidences happened and then aliens came and all the shit went down, I'd be like, you know what? Maybe I should relook into this whole religion business.
For me, because like I'm polytheistic, right? I believe in all of the gods pretty much. In my head, I'm just like, oh yeah, this is like a helping hand, I guess, from a deity, right? Like that makes sense to me. I just don't believe in
it depends on like what it's for exactly, like what deity would interfere with that stuff. And my wife and I are in a similar boat. Yeah, but it's just like, for this, it's like,
to be fair, you would be thinking of some kind of higher power being like, but just to say it the way he did, I think is what freaks me out. Of like, it was all in the plan that my child would be suffering from asthma. Yeah, just like hits hard of like, ew, dude.
God's plan is terrifying.
Yeah,
like in all reality, if that is truly what is, then God's plan is a sick and terrifying thing.
Especially if, like, God knew from the get-go that y'all would get attacked by aliens and couldn't put it in his little book to be like, hey, also, water.
Yeah,
Good
he killed a lot of people in Brazil with that alien attack, but like
probably
he made
India.
he made sure a pastor returned back to his duties.
Yeah, that's what he cared
his
about.
Pastoral duties.
Obviously, he only cares about the pastor.
Well, so Morgan ends up like waking up from the epinephrine shot, and they're like, "Oh my god!" Like, thank God. Obviously,
we get a zoom out shot of the camera going back into the house, and then panning over and showing a time skip of it going from like summer
to
spring to winter, and
it's like snowing outside.
And Graham is dressed up as Father Graham again,
Yep,
putting his collar on and everything.
Yeah, putting his jacket back on, getting his cross, all that stuff.
And you get background noise of like the kids laughing and Merle downstairs and like showing everything all's well as ends well if you're a pastor.
And that's it.
That's it. So aliens restored his faith in God. Question mark?
Yeah. Again, I think if you watch this movie from the perspective of aliens defy religion and like what people know as common religion, so like the presence of aliens in and of itself rocking a shit ton of people's beliefs, that could be terrifying.
Oh no, don't get me wrong, this movie is fucking horrifying.
Yeah, no, this movie's scary. When you watch the birthday party scene, you're gonna be like, oh my god.
Dude, and we talked about this with weapons of not using music to hit those jump scares. Does not happen in this one either, especially like when he flips and the freaking shadow on the roof is going to live with me forever again. Like, it's a creepy ass movie, and to think about putting yourself in the situation of being trapped in your house with your family as aliens are attacking and you don't know what's happening.
Just, yeah, like slowly witnessing the end of the world and trying to like piece that together as a family. And then, like, just doing what you think is the best that you can do for that situation. Aliens terrify me because that is the ultimate unknown. Because there is not a single thing on this earth that will represent or even give us an idea of it or anything that it knows or understands. You know what I mean? Like, that is just...
Deep sea.
Well, but I think that's different. Like, if it's aliens that are, like, completely 100% foreign and have no... like connection to the earth as far as like anything, then it's just like a truly unknown being with everything else unknown. Like, I don't know, it just...
No, you're correct. I just like, for me, deep sea is on the same level as aliens. No. Because like we have no idea what the fuck's going on there. Dude, deep sea is wild.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Follow our Instagram and threads at No Self Service Pod. Until next time.